but at the same time, you also have to have that trust factor. I think I never trusted God anymore. I never trusted God in my life more than this moment. Hey y'all, it's your girl Annie. Anybody there? If you're new to the family, don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment below. Well, after you watch the video, but you're gonna enjoy it, so just stay anyway. So this is my first video. Officially moved into my new school. So for all of y'all who don't know, because you don't follow me on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, what you doing, baby? Anyway, so your girl got into medical school, and I've been doing the medical school application series, but I never explicitly mentioned that I got accepted and you know that I'm starting medical school. So I just want to do that on here. So these past few weeks have been crazy because not only have I been, you know, moving out of my old house or moving into school, I also started posting. Well, this is crazy, but I posted a video on TikTok, and it went kind of semi-viral. And you know, I just posted another one. It was related to pre-med content, you know, just talking about how I got into med school. And you know, ever since then, it's just been a whole crazy roller coaster ride of me posting videos and getting a lot of questions and kind of growing pretty fast, which I'm excited about. So if you're from TikTok, welcome. But I just kind of wanted to explain the process of, you know, not really how I got into med school, but just kind of like, okay, so I do want to explain how I got into med school, but I'm not about to tell you like what to do and everything like that. I just kind of want to come from a faith perspective. You know, I see a lot of videos on how to get into medical school and all these great, smart people, you know, putting steps on what to do and how to get there. And I'm going to do that, you know, and I've been doing that on TikTok, but I just wanted this video to be more of a different perspective on how, you know, faith can also bring, how faith tied in with this process or any process in life can really get you to where you're going. So for a lot of people, you know, it's really easy to just be like, oh, I don't think I have a score, or I don't think, you know, who am I to be a med school student. Just using all these different excuses to hide the fact that you are capable of doing anything if you put your mind to it. And, you know, sometimes that can come from what you hear on TV, you know, of what they show a doctor to be like, or what people tell you. Like sometimes it can be, this is sad, but it could be a counselor, or it could be a friend, or even one or two of a bad apple doctor who's telling you, you know, like, you're not suited for this. So I'm here to tell you, as someone who got to med school, that anybody can do it. And I just mean anybody who's determined and anyone who puts in the hard work. It doesn't matter what your financial status is looking like, because there's ways around it. But I just want to use this video to kind of just talk about my story, personal story, and how I really feel like from my faith, I'm Christian, and I believe that God played a huge role in me getting into medical school. And I do believe that the reason I believe that it is him who helped me get in, not that I didn't put in any hard work, but you know, from the statistics and things that people were telling me, it really seemed like it was impossible to get in. But with my faith and with my hard work, I was able to conquer all. So let's just not get too much with an intro. I just want to go straight to the story. So in 2019, I had signed up to do this research program, and the program was basically just promoting people who want to go into grad school and continue doing research. But you know, at the time I didn't know that, and I also really wanted to get a spot at a research lab, so I went to it so I could, like, you know, learn more about research and introduce myself to the other researchers and stuff. And you know, I kind of started feeling like, oh, why am I here, when they just kept on emphasizing the graduate program. And I talked to some other students who were also pre-med, and they were like, yeah, you know, talking about their plans for themselves and how maybe it wouldn't be too bad to work at a graduate lab if they couldn't get into med school and stuff. So I talked to the director, and I was just telling her, you know, I'm good, I'm not applying to this, I'm just looking for a spot in the research lab because I'm pre-med. And she was like, oh, okay, so when are you graduating? And I talked to her about how I'm thinking of applying that summer, and she was kind of shocked because she was like, this is mostly a program for freshmen and sophomore, what year are you in? And then I told her, well, I'm technically a junior, but I'm a second year student. Like, I'm a sophomore if you look at me in terms of the years, but I'm a junior by credit, and I will be a senior hopefully by like the end of third year. So she was like, okay, when you're taking your MCAT and all that. And I was just basically telling her, like, you know, I'm scheduled to take my MCAT this summer, like after my sophomore year summer, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and apply, you know, if my score is looking good and stuff. And at the time I was 18, and let me just explain to you guys the age, because everyone always gets so confused by it. So I'm a year younger since I've been a year younger since 6th grade because I skipped 6th grade, so since 7th grade. But yeah, and I also was at that time planning to graduate in 3 years, so it made it seem like I was like so young, you know. But so I told her, yeah, I'm 18. She's like, and you're trying to apply, so you'll be 19 when you apply. And I'm like, yeah. She just basically kind of told me, you know, I don't want to like get you down or anything, but maybe you could like take a gap year or add another major so you can stay another year. Like, it's very rare for med schools to pick someone that young. So, you know, just save your money, don't waste your time. Like, and she wasn't coming from a malicious place, but you know, I started getting a little bit nervous too. Like, what am I even doing? Why am I even trying to finish in 3 years? What am I gonna do for a year at home? You know, what programs do I want to accept a young girl and stuff like that, you know? And also knowing that like I'm a minority, and yes, I understand that, you know, minorities might have a lower, statistically lower scores and GPAs and are accepted into medical school. It's actually fewer of them who get in still. Like, if you go to any institution that's not an HBCU, there's usually a large number of Caucasian people, and then there's minorities, but usually African Americans are usually like a few of them. They're the least amount of population in a class because not as many African Americans apply, because not enough African Americans have money to apply, or you know, all that. But anyway, so you know, that's just one instance. But basically, I was hearing this from a lot of teachers, you know, kind of giving me a sluggish smile when I tell them kind of like I'm naive. And you know, talking to my parents, I know that the system that they had in Nigeria was a lot different, so I was nervous, like dang, you know, everyone's telling me that I can't do this. Like, who am I to start thinking yes I can do this when I literally have to study twice as hard to finish, you know, with an A in Orgo. Like, I literally am average. Like, I'm not, you know, any like intellectual mega mind, you know. So I just didn't really think much about it, but I kind of noticed in myself too that I wasn't putting as much effort into studying for the MCAT. I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna focus on my grades because, you know, it's here, that's what I'm doing in the moment. And I did that, and then in the summer I finally took the MCAT, you know, all that. So people were telling me like, oh, you gotta aim for 507, 510, 515, like all these high scores. And I was like, bet I can do it. But you know how it be, as you start studying and stuff, it's like you kind of keep on reducing your target score. Like, let me just settle for 505. You know, 503 is good enough. You know, just keep on bringing it down, and that's what I was doing until finally it was time to take the exam. And like, I studied for 5 weeks. You know, I didn't spend that much time studying for it, and I kind of just had in my back of my mind that like, you know what, it is what it is. I can't kill myself. My parents, you know, have decided to help me, and they told me multiple times, you know, like, you can do it, we believe in you, and that's why we're pushing to apply this year. Like, it wasn't just me begging them to apply, like they pushed me too, like, you know, come on, you can do this, we believe in you. And I think that's also a big part of the reason why I got into medical school. My social circle, my parents, the people around me kept me grounded. Now, one thing I did was, I told you guys how I told these counselors and teachers how I was applying to medical school, or considering it, but I didn't tell peers. I didn't go around calling all my cousins and stuff, telling people that everyone I was applying, because I think within itself, it reduced a lot of pressure, telling them I was taking the MCAT and all that stuff, so people aren't constantly calling me and telling me, how are you studying now, or what are you doing, you know? And I think that's an advice I would give you guys too. When you're applying, if you haven't told everyone, I think that's okay. Just keep it between yourself, because you know, sometimes you don't know what kind of negative energy or negative vibe can be introduced. Based on just some of the people I told alone, in fact, in terms of like professors, I did feel, you know, my spirits would kind of down a little bit. So I'm kind of happy I kept it to as small as I did. So yeah, when it was time for me to take the MCAT, nobody knew. I came out like free because only my parents knew, and I was like, well, it's kind of nice not having everyone calling me and telling me, how'd you do? How'd you think it was? So yeah, so with that mentality, I told myself, okay, I have a month and before the scores come out, and I was doing summer school. So whenever the scores later came out, my mind was kind of in a different place. You know, I was back on campus in school, you know, just learning French. That's what I was doing. And so I was not anxious every single day leading up to my score, which is also another thing I did to reduce the anxiety going into the application process. And I just told myself, if I get above a 500, I'm gonna apply, because I also did my research, and I'm like, I'm African American, I'm female, and I know statistically the scores are lower to get in. And I also checked using a website that told me I had like an 83% chance of applying since I had a 3.9 GPA. And also just knowing that my application was strong in terms of the things I've been doing, I was like, okay, I got this. Like, the only thing really holding me back is a score lower than 500. If I get a 500, I don't care, or higher, like, I'm gonna apply. So I think the score came out, I saw it, I had a 501, and I was like, okay, bet. Like, this is not the best score in the world, but I was happy. Like, I just felt so relieved because I was like, you know what? Like, with my faith, I know that God, every time in my life I have to go through something or I gotta, you know, do something challenging, that is usually something that people have already told me, like, oh, you know, it's gonna be hard for you to do that. I always head into it with like a very average, I don't know how to explain it, a very average platform, like whether it is, how do I explain it? I just always go in not with the best or the strongest scores or the best application. I always go in with like very average statistics or whatever it is, and I still always end up coming through on top with the people who got the really good scores. And I've known that for all my life. When that happened to me, it's because God is trying to show me that He's the one who intervened in my life. Because, you know, if I got the perfect score and everything, like, and I had the best GPA and everything, the truth is I just would be chilling. I wouldn't really be like saying, God, please help me. And, you know, I just would be thinking, oh, you know, I did this through like man effort, which is one thing that I've noticed that God always uses as humor in my life, showing me like, I'm gonna make it to where it's like, everyone's telling you you can't do this specific thing, so that when you do get it, you'll know that it was not anyone else's doing, but it was my doing, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So that's basically what happened. I went in with the 501 and I was like, I'm gonna apply. If I even get one interview and I don't get into the school or anything, that's enough for me. I kind of kept my standards low because I was like, you know, to even make it this far, to be able to say I'm about to apply and look into schools and put the money in, that was like pretty cool for me, because there are people who, they start wanting to apply and then when the score comes out, they have to withdraw their application. So in my head, I was like, I've already made it past that phase. Like, that's not even somewhere I thought I'd be. So going into the application process, I see that there's a lot of writing, personal statements, all that stuff. And I told myself, you know, I'm a pretty strong writer. And if I can use that skill, because I believe that's also a gift from God, like my writing skills, I'm gonna use that skill to further push me away from that average spot that I feel like I fall in. And I basically just did that. I made sure that I took my time on my personal statement, got people to read it. Every secondary I wrote, I gave it to my cousin who was in med school. Like, I asked him, please, can you please help me read it? And basically when he told me like, wow, like these are the strongest secondaries like that I've seen based on the ones I'd sent to him, I just kept on recycling that information for all my applications, you know, and just pushing through. A good thing too was because I wasn't telling people, it was easier to just, you know, go about my day and not be stressed out by people asking me like, oh, have you done this yet? Or what are you doing about this? You know, like just kind of like having that peace of mind. And another good thing is that I was in classes. I wasn't taking a gap year, so I was in school, full board schedule. Because it was my third year, I'm still taking a lot of classes because I'm trying to graduate, you know? So I did all that, and I was kind of constantly distracted from the fears and the anxiety. And so it was cool because when I was getting my interview invitations, it was like I wasn't sitting there looking at my computer screen 24/7. It was like, it'd be a normal day, I'm looking through my computer, my email to see if my teacher sent anything to me, and then I get an invitation. Like, that feeling was one of the best feelings because I didn't even think I was gonna get it. And you know, skeptical me, I called my parents like, did y'all have anything to do with this? And they were like, no, you know, we didn't do med school in this country, you know, so we have our hands are washed, like, you did this yourself. And I was like, okay girl, get it. So I was really hyped for the first one, but I was still just like, okay, you know, let me just respect myself. Like, that's probably just, you know, I don't know. I just thought it was just, you know, luck. Then the next time I got another one, I think it was a month later, I was like, wait, sis, you're really doing this? And I was like, 2? I was like, okay, even if I still don't get in based on the interviews, like, I think it's still lit to be like, oh, I'm going to my next time applying. Like, if I have to apply next year, knowing that, oh, the last cycle I got 2 interviews, that will boost my confidence, you know? Another thing I wasn't doing, I wasn't actively checking Reddit and all these student network, doctor network sites that would keep on telling me things like, oh, I got a 535 and like a 6.0 GPA and I still didn't get in, or do you guys think I'm gonna get in? It just made me more nervous, so I didn't go on it because I knew those people were applying the same year as me and all the information there would be relating to my application cycle, and I didn't want to like freak myself out. I kind of put myself in a small bubble thinking like, it's just me, this is my application, and then there's God. I didn't go thinking of the stats of how many Black people apply here, or how many people apply, all that stuff, because that would freak me out. And I just made it seem like, I really just made the whole application cycle very personal. I made it every email that was probably sent out to the masses like it was just to me, and just kind of feeling like I had a relationship with each school that I was applying to, because I just didn't want myself to freak out. My best work comes when I'm not stressed. That's in anything, in exams, whatever I do. Like if I'm not stressed and I'm just relaxed about it, I see everything coming pretty natural and easy flowing for me. When I stress out, I doubt myself, I feel myself with all this like anxiousness and stuff like that. And I just, you know, I didn't want that. I really do believe that my hard work and grit got me to where I am, but I also feel like God's intervention did. So don't be scared to take that chance. If it means not telling the whole world because, you know, you want to keep that between your family and God that you're applying, do that if that's what's going to help your mental health. But at the same time, you also have to have that trust factor. I think I never trusted God anymore. I never trusted God in my life more than this moment, if that makes sense. I've trusted God in the past, but this moment was like, I was totally relaxed, I think, throughout the whole thing, which is very surprising for me, and I'm just really happy that I did. And so now moving forward and actually being in med school, I do believe that God put me here for a reason. He's not just gonna let me go. He's gonna take care of me and make sure that I stay motivated and I do what I have to do and make the right connections and make the right friends, which is why I've been pretty comfortable with the process of moving here and everything, and finally being able to start med school. I was nervous at first, but you know, having those things in my head, constantly reminding myself that God put me here for a reason and He's shown me signs, I believe that I'll be fine. But you know, now it's time for me to pass on that message to you guys. You will be fine, I promise you. So if you are applying, or you know, whatever it is you're doing, or you're thinking of applying in the next couple of months or in another year, don't let any voices get in your head. Do it, just do it. Literally just reach for the skies and you will be fine. God's got you. And I just wanted to bring in that other aspect that I feel like a lot of med school influencers or people don't really talk about in the application cycle. There's hard work, there's all these other things, but there's also faith. And I think faith will take you a lot further than anything else, if I'm being very honest, you know? So that's basically my TED Talk. Thank y'all for coming. And follow me on TikTok because you know your girl be doing her thing, she be popping. And I just also like how it's a lot faster in communicating the message than having to sit down and record a whole video. Just do a cute dance and put the description of whatever it is I'm trying to explain to you up. And yeah, if you know anyone who's pre-med and might need my videos, or who wants someone to talk to, just tell them to DM me or watch my videos or follow me on TikTok, whatever. But yeah, it's been cool, it's been real, and we're gonna get through this year. Bye y'all, love y'all, please subscribe, comment, and keep sharing and reposting your girl on